Yeah.
Hello, everybody. We're here. Troopers here. We're here. We've got faces that you know and love, and more importantly, it's a very special day here on the Dotlight. We are launching Wednesday RPGs, which is something new. On top of the fact that we're bringing back, backed by popular demand, the Purloin code, Scum and Villainy, right here on the channel. And I don't know, it's Wednesday. Celebrate your Wednesday, right? Like you gotta look to the sunshine and just say today's that day. And today's the day that they're gonna crash and burn on a planet.
Well, not today.
Happy Wednesday. I am over the moon excited to be back with this campaign. You know, I had planned to run it as a very small... Oh, thank you for that, love. Yay! Oh, thanks, Pro. Go to bed. I know you've probably been streaming. I had plans to do this as like a little short side thing here, side thing there. But yeah. Now here we are running a whole campaign, which means that either I didn't complete the storyline I wanted, or we just couldn't get enough. Maybe a little of both.
A little of both.
Maybe a little of both. But before I jump into the literal life and death situation that we left you all in during our, like, we're going to call this the 4 mini campaign a prologue. During the prologue where we left off, before we hop into all of that shenanigan, let's go around. It is a new season, so introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and tell us a little bit about your character. It looks like we've got some new faces in the chat, and we definitely want to help them know a little bit about you guys. So let's actually start with Drop the Die. Go on,
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Drop the Die, also JB. You can find me at Drop the Die on Twitter. I will be playing Hanovi Hama. Hanovi is the muscle of the group, a dangerous and intimidating fighter. He's also a very cool character. He doesn't really lose his temper all that often, but when he does, it's very dangerous. Very
Say
bad.
the least, right?
Previously, Hanovi has been something of a speed bump with the rest of the crew in terms of getting everything congealed together, seen as something of an outsider. But when push came to shove in the prologue, Hanovi kind of stepped up and extended olive branches to everyone and tried to be a focal point to get through a huge mess that Janice caused.
Yeah, and by mess, if I remember correctly, the mess turned into being a little bit of an unsuspected, like, or unplanned celebration. They celebrated you all as heroes.
At what cost?
At what cost? At what cost? I guess we'll find out more about that. Moving right along, Adelaide.
Hello, I'm Adelaide at Adelaide on Twitter. I am playing Midge, Slip, Ryle, the captain and mechanic of Zero Gravitas, along with my kid brother. She's a pretty hardy gal. Not much gets to her really, but she's kind of right now. She's in the process of juggling a lot of things on her plate. There's a lot of mixed priorities. So not the least of which is my ship that I am in a lot of debt for, currently heading towards a planet to crash. Yeah, so I'm excited to be here. I've been missing this crew, and I'm glad to get back into it.
Nice. Yeah, your poor ship. It's on loan. It's just
Fine.
It's
Let's total it out.
it's fine. All right.
We'll cover.
Yeah, insurance will cover it, right? And by insurance, you mean the guild?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're heroes now, right?
Right. We'll move right along then on that note to Jason.
Right, Jason T, D&D DM from Twitterverse, talking all things TTRPG related. Yeah, I played Janus Volkar, Galaxy known now, evidently, scoundrel and all around, in his own eyes, good guy. who can't either talk his way out of or shoot his way out of any situation, which is very evident in the prologue. But given the sort of circumstances of how the prologue ended, it'll be interesting to see what becomes of Janus now. So
yeah, he's definitely affected, to say the least, and I had a little chat with Jason post-prologue. Can you say that post-prologue? Yeah. And there are more things to come. Poor Janus.
Oh.
Poor Janus. Moving right along to Trooper.
Hi everyone, I am Trooper SJP, and I am a streamer and a GM and a player, and you can find me on Trooper SJP, my Twitch channel, or Academic Foxhole on Twitter. And I am playing Dev Ryle, Wallflower, little brother to my big sister who's our pilot, and I'm the pilot. I like to fly things, and I'm a little shy. And right now, everything is totally fine, except we got hit by an EMP blast, and it took out our entire ship, and also my Teddy, and that's no good.
It did. And Sis.
Yes. Sis and Teddy, and we're slowly, we're in the gravity well, so we're slowly being pulled towards this planet. And there might also be a bunch of ships that are defenders of this station we just saved that might also be being pulled towards this planet. So, there might be mass death. It's cool. Don't even worry about it.
It's fine. Speaking of everything being fine, if you would like to assure that things are not fine for the crew, there's a little pink circle yonder. By giving bits and tips, you can fill that circle, and when that circle fills, what is it? It's called the consequence meter. Consequences happen, and if I remember correctly, the consequence meter filled, which is what caused the major last moment happenings during the prologue adventure. So you truly do affect the game. So to do that, simply, Kat, I really adore you, but I can't type in what I need to type in with you on my arm. You can support the channel that way. There are also other ways to support, non-monetary ways to support. Simply following is a great way to do that, so that you know when we go live. You can also go to my Twitter and retweet that we are currently live. Bring other people in to see the show. That is a great way to support. In addition, know that these lovely folks are getting paid, and they are paid off the things that you give in support. So when you support, know that you're helping feed their fur babies or plants. We're plant friendly here, or your teddies. All of these things get supported and funded thanks to you at home who make the dot lot possible. Now that I've gone through all of that good stuff, I feel like we should just hop in, because we really did leave in this massive cliffhanger. So last season, we'll call it, during the 4 prologue episodes, we learned a lot about this group in particular, but most importantly that they work for a secret society known as the Purloin Guild, which follows a very special code known as the Purloin Code. They were created and instilled by the current president of this galaxy, the Byzanti Capuli system. The president instilled the Purloin Guild as a way to create peace across the galaxy, and for the last about 300 years, it has kind of worked. Midge happens to own the ship in contract under the Purloin Guild, and this crew, well, they were supposed to complete a very simple task. Retrieve an item and deliver it. And you did eventually deliver it. You're right. That did happen. After a strange series of events, including shooting a commander aboard a military vessel, it being confused as actually helping, there is a virus that is now believed to be attacking the military computer systems across the galaxy, and you guys got to attend a party where you danced and you bonded and you nookied with your girlfriends, and
looked hella good.
Everybody looked hella good.
Fabulous.
And then amidst a prompt exit from the party, the space station was kind of attacked by a missile. Our heroic crew, wanting to do the right thing, decided to blow up the missile before it reached the space station. Unbeknownst to them, it was an EMT, which means that their spaceship is now floating endlessly through space.
Yay!
You forgot about there was like more than one girlfriend, one of whom I think is fine. The other one took a bomb and
Well,
jumped
we'll say there was one girlfriend and another female that has a connection to Janice somehow.
in a complicated way.
In a very complicated way. And you guys saved her as she was targeted, I guess you could say, by what we believe to be the High Mafia. You guys brought her aboard the ship, which is was your first mistake. You should have just left her. Like, I'm gonna be real. You guys should have just left her. But being the
That's not
heroes
nice.
that you are, you couldn't have let that happen.
Didn't we send out a message as well?
Who sent out that message?
Yeah, I sent out a message.
Who did
to
the message go out to?
The universe.
Oh, it was like a distress
It
signal.
was like a public broadcast letting them know there's a third party that has entered the game. So
Did you put that on all public stations, or was that more on the guild stations?
that was all public stations.
Okay. I forgot about that.
Risky move, but a calculated one.
She was totally Matthew Lillard hacking the planet. That's exactly what that
Okay, so you went out, you let them know basically that the High Mafia is involved?
Because we found evidence that there's some kind of shenanigans with our president, who has rarely been seen.
That's
but
right.
it looks like, okay, so hold on. Chat. So first off, we were framed. People it looked like there was like assassins out to get us, and we're like, oh no, so we go to talk about it with the guild, but then it turns out that we were framed because somebody wanted to go and like ruin everything and make things super, super bad, and we figured it's the High Mafia. We also think that they're perhaps doing some kind of shenanigans with our president, who no one has seen, and that we see like some of our footage, it looks like her, but one bit of footage looks like it was probably faked. So
That's the amount. What you learned was that over the 5 appearances that the president has made in the last like 300 years, every time she spoke publicly, she used her right hand except for one, where she gestured with her left hand.
something sketchy's going on.
Those right and left hands.
I mean, just like Celine Dion, you always make the gesture, you know, my heart will go on, and like with the consistency.
It's a deep fake.
It's a deep fake. It's bad.
Well, while you simmer in your conspiracy theories, which is what I'm going to call them for now, the ship plummets in space, ever towards the oncoming planet. This planet being Petrana. Petrana is the a CO, like a carbon-based planet. It does have breathable air, and it's said to be where the first humans actually took up colonization. It is the kind of like human lineage planet, excuse me. And as you plummet ever faster towards the Earth, towards this planet's surface, you see that it is made up of quite a bit of water. There are actually only 2 land masses on its surface. The rest of it is water. Janice, are you still punching a corpse?
That's right.
Right. No, not at this
Okay.
point. At this point, he's sort of stood up and he's just sort of sitting down over to the side and head sort of sunk low, knuckles swollen, hands bloodied, and just reaching towards the nearest alcoholic beverage.
Sure. It's kind of difficult. All of the lights are out. There's not even the flashing, like, red lights of caution at this point. All electronic usage is down. The entire vessel, like, shakes as you plummet, ever closer. You kind of have to crawl, almost like hanging onto things over. You find the liquor cabinet. not all the bottles are smashed in between the fighting and the crashing. Hanovi, you were on the door. Where did you end up at the moment of the EMP blast?
Shortly thereafter, Hanovi collapsed in like a cold sweat.
Oh, that's right, because you're very injured. Oh, thanks, Steph.
Injured, yeah, quotation marks.
Hanovi
Injured.
doesn't look good, right? He looks bad.
He's covered in sweat. He's got sweat like clinging to his beard.
Right.
He's blowing hard. Spit's coming out of his mouth. He's clutching onto his chest. And he's trying to like crawl up the side of this bedraggled door and get to his feet.
Yeah.
And Dev is in the pilot seat trying to waiting to hit atmosphere, trying to, use the aerodynamics of the ship to try to mitigate whatever we can while hoping, he's looking for stuff. He's looking at the other ships that got hit. He's looking to see if there's anything that he can do that way while hoping that his sister's going to get power back to us somehow before we die.
All right, you peer out the window. It does look like the EMP has hit everything that was here, including all the ships that were following you, the security ships that were following you. Some of them were far enough away where they haven't been pulled into the orbit of the planet. Some of them are just starting the aimless float into black nothingness. A few of them, these are smaller security ships, which means that they are moving at a faster rate once they get pulled into the gravitational pull. And you can see them as a few of them have begun to break atmosphere, and they light the front end of them on fire. Off in the distance, you can kind of see them as if a shooting star skips across the orbital surface of Petrana. The ship continues to shake. Janice, you're trying to put alcohol in your face. You're kind of splashing it a little bit because literally you're going down. Midge, what do you do the moment the EMP hits and your entire ship?
Stabilizing myself against the wall. I was already observing whatever the fuck Janice was going through, and then JB. I look over. No, I'm sorry, Hanovi. Sorry. Hanovi. Give him a look over. You were in the process of kind of struggling to get up, correct? I kind of give you the once over. Please tell me you're not gonna stroke out. Don't. I can't. Not today. All right.
Last I remember, you were trying to weld this plate over the giant hole in the ship.
Oh, that's right. Remember the door got ripped off.
Yeah,
that's true.
Sorry about that.
That way.
You finish tacking it on, you get it around the edges, and it kind of seals shut. Of course, that doesn't take you long. And when you turn around to look, Hanovi is at your feet, bleeding out. I'm sure you've taken you took a gunshot?
Nope.
I'm not wounded. I have no trauma.
Okay.
Boy stressed, and when my stress gets all the way up there, I have strong withdrawals from a particular drug.
There you go. So yeah, you see that it manifests. I'm sure with a couple sweats, maybe some shakes, the panicked look of an.
How much of me can you see if it's completely black in here?
I guess that's true. It is really, really dark. Probably just the outlines. Because there is some light coming in from the windows, but it would only be natural light sources. So the closer you get to the planet, the more light you may get. But right now it is very, very, very dark. And there's also a corpse in the room.
And I think the last thing that I was saying was Teddy.
Teddy
Sis?
responds not. Neither does Sis.
That means Tank's down too. Oh no. My robot.
Yes. Robot
yeah.
done.
Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna leave Hanovi to it because I can barely see him. It sounds more like he's just lost his breath. In my spare parts bag, I may have glow sticks.
Yep.
Or flares of some kind.
Yeah, you crack open a couple glow sticks. They glow a vibrant blue color.
Yeah, just chucking them different areas of the ship.
Sis, we're caught in the gravity well. Can you get that was some kind of EMP? Can you get power back?
I mean, I could rig up. I could
batteries?
maybe rig up some kind of electrical jury rig to jump some power, maybe?
So, Midge, you would know that an EMP, when it goes off, destroys everything. All of it will have to be, most of the electrical, like, wiring is going to have to be replaced. All the circuit boards will have to be replaced. You do know, this being your ship, that the Cerberus has some manual options. Dev, you may also know this. Most ships do. Now, the Cerberus is not usually meant to land on planet and come back off, but it does have that capability. There are a few rudders and things that could be used to try to manually steer the ship into a glide to the planet's surface, unless you have a better plan. You also know that the like arm out front of the ship that you guys have, like graspy arm, that can also be managed manually.
How fast are we descending right now? Because I think when we left, we were just beginning.
You were just hitting that pull, so you're feeling the ship kind of begin to speed up. It's getting that like vibration of being pulled in. But the smaller ships are moving at much faster rates. It's easier to pull them in. Does that make sense? You guys are larger.
And we went pretty far away from the station because we wanted to hit that missile. Oh no, the missile wasn't the EMP. There was a missile that was going to destroy the thing, and then after we destroyed the missile, then there was the EMP blast that came up afterwards.
It was a secondary blast.
Yeah. Is there a way? We are too far away from the station. Is there any way for us? Is there anything that is not being pulled in that we can maybe hit with our grappler?
You start tearing, literally, like running around the ship, looking out of all of the windows, trying to get a perspective since you don't have your usual navigational tools. You can see the space station. It is getting smaller. You can see a few of the other ships floating away. It is getting smaller. There is a moon for this. I say a moon. It's more like a very small moon that floats around this planet. You guys could potentially hit it first. If you wanted to try to aim for it, you're welcome to try, but more than likely the easiest thing to do is going to be to land it on planet and replace your parts. Because there's nothing around you. There's no rings on this planet or anything like that. It's more of a... you can see like clouds and things like that. It's a very, very wet planet.
Are there any of those ships that were not caught in that EMP blast? It was a pretty big blast.
It was it was meant to knock out everything in this area.
Yeah. But it looks like it didn't hit the space station?
Did not. You guys, it was meant to hit the space station. So you guys stopped it long before it reached it, and the radius did not. So you can see that the lights of the space station are on, and Dev, you're pretty sure that more security forces are being sent out of the space station. You can see like the little tiny ships like begin to depart from it. So there might be help coming, but then again, you guys are also running. And
what do you mean running?
Weren't you guys running from the security of the space station?
No.
No, we were
that's right. You guys were running from the. That's right.
Into our friend's neck.
That's right.
Yeah, no,
You're right.
Heroes.
You're right. You're heroes. So, as heroes are wont to do, so I would say they are sending like backup forces from the space station out to this area to see what has gone down. Since nobody can respond, literally, there's been no radioactivity after the explosion.
I'm also going to toss... I'm going to toss a few spare flares out into the airlock.
Okay.
And release them so that there's some kind of light right by us.
Okay.
Also...
We sent the video of what was happening, right? Including the video of us shooting down the missile. And the
I just blasted everything out that we had with like a message like, this is what's going on, dudes.
And so the space station did see us being the heroes saving them, so at least they won't think we're bad guys.
It's true.
Hopefully. So also, I know that there's going to be no air in the spaceship within a matter of maybe a couple 10 minutes or so. I'm gonna run around the ship, grab the suits that we have, toss them out to everybody, just in case.
Very good.
Deb's already in his, because he dresses nicely.
You do dress very nice. You look great.
It's a custom suit. It's on the character sheet.
I know. I don't know. Do you think we could use the arm to? There's no air in space. What am I thinking?
I do not know.
She's just literally talking out loud at this point.
Do you think we could do anything with batteries or something? Just something to get us a little bit of power so that we can maneuver better at least?
They even work. I got a few spare ones. I'll take them out and lick them.
Yeah.
Please tell me what you take out and lick. One more time for the audience's sake.
Batteries.
Great. You test a couple batteries. Do batteries get killed by EMPs?
That's the question.
I feel like they shouldn't, right? Because they're not...
They're not...
It won't.
Oh, shit.
It won't kill the batteries.
Yeah, I got a whole bag full of spare parts.
Well, I got a whole bag of batteries.
How many batteries?
Okay, so the real question is, what are you putting...
You have 2 ship batteries.
Okay.
One that we replaced and one that we stole from the
The
radio.
broken one.
That's right. So really, it's the electrical pieces that are connecting all of that. So, Midge, what basically you would need to do is rewire the portion of the engine that you could direct to a battery. It's literally like you're gonna jumpstart a car. You've got to have it directly connected to it, and and you might get enough of a boost that it could help with the navigation, or potentially knock you out of orbit. Is also a possibility, but then you might be floating in space.
Man the fort. I'm gonna climb into essentially the belly of. Underneath the floorboards, just kind of wriggling in there. I'm gonna duct tape the one broken battery, seal it up as best as I can.
I'm gonna say, Mr. Hyde, can you help?
Hyde is on his hands and knees crawling into the mess room for his jacket to get something from it.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, Dev, because he was in the pilot seat, has no idea what happened with Hanovi or with Janice. Like, he has no idea about the punching in the face, the multiple... Aura being gone. Yep, nope, doesn't know any of that, because he was face forward.
So I imagine this is about the time that he would get there if Slip is sliding into the bottom of the ship. And he just kind of tackles the chair and falls with it, with his jacket. And starts feeling around through the pocket and pulls out this...
Don't break anything else, please!
Silver box. A little bit bigger than like a cigar box.
Okay.
He opens it up and it has a little vial in it and a little syringe.
Ooh!
Really long, bendable needle.
Mm-hmm.
He sticks the syringe in the vial and starts pulling some out.
Dev doesn't know.
Deep breath. And he steadies himself because the whole ship's shaking.
Yep,
right?
yep. So that needle.
Oh, no. He's trying his best to steady himself on this table. And he takes the needle and puts it to his tear duct and slides it into his eye.
Oh!
As the ship's shaking around and blood's trickling out of his eyelid. And he injects it. And you see the pupil starts to turn this icky kind of black and fills with this liquid, and then a few minutes later it all dissipates and all of the veins in his neck and his face stand out, and he just flips the table, crashes a bunch of shit in the room, throws the chair, all the stuff that's half bolted down gets ripped up and thrown.
Mr. Hyde?
What do you need?
Are you okay? And like Deb is like keeping his eyes right on everything because he not on the outside and trying not to hit ships that are flying towards us, trying to do his very best. Are you okay, Mr. Hyde?
Hanovi will kind of not stomp, but kind of sprint through the ship, like uncomfortably fast for most.
I'm sure we hear the pounding of your feet. It's just like.
And then he's near where Dev is. What do you need? You see, like the blood lead.
It's too dark for that, so no.
I have a blue glow stick.
It's true, glow stick.
Just
Ray of time.
Are you okay?
What do you need, Dev?
The ship's got no power. See if you can help the captain.
Slow us down.
I'm trying.
Sprints back.
Janice, you pretty much witnessed the hulking of Hanovi. I don't know how much you care as you drink, but things are being like tossed and thrown around you. Imagine you're just like sitting there and things are like flying from one end of the ship, or one end of this kind of mess room to another. You did witness Hanovi put a needle in his eye. As you do. And you hear his feet getting closer and closer. Midge, I need you to roll. I am going to need you to roll to wire or rig up this the ship to have some kind of power source. How are you planning to do that?
She's got a roll full of copper wire.
Okay.
Some electrical tape in her bag of tricks. It's gonna be messy. Bit of gum, elbow grease. But she's gonna try and.
Okay. Are you gonna do it via rigging it? Are you rigging it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Roll the rig.
Before you do, can any of us help her?
I mean, I don't see why not. If you would like to be there, Deb, you definitely, if you feel like you can add stress.
Wrench? Scalpel?
I'm just worried about, because I know that Hanovi's over there, but I feel like he shouldn't take any more stress. He seems really stressed out right now.
Yeah, let's not let Hanovi take any more stress.
Fine, everything's fine.
What happens when your stress maxed out? Do you die? Okay.
No, you take trauma.
Awesome, I want it. Let's do it.
Oh,
I can push myself as well.
I'll
push myself as well.
To help you anyway.
Okay, you're gonna push yourself. So, pushing yourself adds the extra die, right? So make sure you add that as the bonus. In this case, for this roll, I would say, sorry, it's going to be this is a very desperate situation.
Okay.
The effect here could be, I would say, great if you can get some power behind it. And then add those. You said you're putting effort and he's putting effort, so that's 2 die.
Okay. Nice.
Yes.
Nicely done. Okay, add 6. You hear that sound as Midge like slips beneath, pulls, like you guys see wires like flinging and flying. You hear that sound of duct tape as it like rips from the thing. Something is going on. Dev, you're taking as fast as she's like emptying stuff out.
That's Hanovi who's doing that.
Hanovi's like lugging. Hanovi effortlessly slides the battery over. It plumps into the hole, almost crushing Midge like right next to her. The battery's there. You hook it up. And you have that moment where you literally, they're just jumper cables at this point, and you just like, and you stick it on. There's a moment where everybody holds their breath. Midge, you're going to have to, you reach over, you gotta pump it to get it going. You pump, and you pull like you'd pull a lawnmower, and it, one of the engines turns on. It's feeding off this single battery source direct. It explodes out. It begins churning. You can hear it in the engine room, which is not too far. The ship that was not plummeting already is now at an accelerated speed because it's turned on. Dev, you are not in the pilot seat.
I am in the pilot
Oh, you
seat.
are in the pilot seat still. Okay. Oh, that's right. You weren't helping. Hanovi was helping.
Yeah, Hanovi just wants to take some trauma. you know.
If he just wants to take that trauma. Oh, that's right. You do have trauma now.
Yeah.
I'll have to see what that looks like when we land. Dev.
But I think you might get rid of your stress. I don't know.
Dev, your body is pressed against the seat as you feel a very familiar thrust. Your navigation board not turned on. You know that you're going to have to release the manual release. You reach underneath, you pull it free. The entirety of the the steering wheel for the ship or the wheel for the ship like drops down into a manual position. It pulls free towards you. You're going to have to make a piloting. I guess if that's the one you want to make it with, you are going to have to start steering this lovely little ship.
So, Dev, see the light of the planet. You know, is you can see the planet. I imagine we're sort of getting closer and closer to atmosphere.
Yes, you are. You've started to see. You can feel the heat on the front of the ship. You're beginning to get hot as you enter the atmosphere.
And I'm already, because Dev wears his seatbelt, because that's how he is. And he's in there, and he's getting some illumination as we get closer to the ship, which is to the planet, which may be disconcerting. But once the engine sparks to life, and not full power, and not all of the engine, but he's got a little bit, and he's got the manual, what he's going to do is he's thinking about all the things he learned. He, as a youth, spent a lot of time doing hover car races, so he's actually quite good at fast speeds in kind of dangerous situations, and he's really good at maneuvering things to sort of, he can do the Tokyo Drift. He's very good at these things. And what he's going to do is he's going to just, it's going to be hard, but in the best way he can, he's going to try to angle the ship so that he's able to sort of cut on our sort of angle of descent to make us sort of move us from crashing to more gliding, to that hopefully, right, he can use the atmosphere to sort of give us a little bit of buffeting to so that we can get to a space where we can maybe surf. You know what I mean? If we can get ourselves...
you want to kind of glide in. Okay. All right. This is going to, once again, this will be a very risky move. Actually, yeah, I would say since the thrusters are on, I'll give it to you as risky and not desperate. The outcome here would be great. Maintaining the ship under control as you glide into a planet with no actual power.
Before you roll, we have that giant... Are you trying to... Is this the process of trying to land?
Yes.
We have that giant sheet thing. It may be completely futile, but trying to think of something once...
You mean the one that, like, seals the ship?
Yes.
Okay. We do have one of those.
Flip is wondering if it's possible to attach it out the back end of the airlock, almost like some kind of makeshift parachute.
Okay.
That might get some kind of drag.
Okay, I'll need another rig if that's, because I think you would probably roll that as a rig. So in this case, we have moved to risky, so this is a risky situation. If it all goes well, this is a pretty standard outcome, which is that you'll create a parachute from the expanding fabric. And I would say Midge would know you're smart enough that you've got to get it to the outside, that there's a release hatch in the opposite, like, engine that's not turned on, that you could probably, like, get it out and it would out the back of it. But you've got to rig it up so that it stays.
Okay. Let's do it. We have no more gambit. You save the gambits for yours. Let's do it. Okay.
Okay. At a 4, you gotta find everything. You're like, holy, you need extension cable. Like, you start, like, and you're tying and you're going and you're going and you're going. It is as good as it's gonna get, you think? And you,
fingers crossed.
Are you gonna release it?
Yeah, once he hits into
the lower atmosphere.
The atmosphere,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're basically on hold. You think that you've rigged it up to hold appropriately and to be able to release when the time is right. Janice, what are you up to?
Right now, I'm sort of cheering on Hanobi. I'm sort of sitting down, slumped up against the wall, like kicking back the bottle swig after swig after swig, and as Hanobi goes storming by, I'm like, right, mate, just break all the shit. Who gives a fuck anymore? I don't. We're gonna crash. It's gonna get broken anyway. So, yeah, mate, do it, smash it all. I'm behind you 100%. Need a bottle? I got another one right here.
We're not going to crash. And I'm going to look at my... I have Keen Eye, which says you have sharp eyes and notice small details, many you might overlook.
Okay.
Plus 1d when firing ship's guns or making trick shots. Which this is not, but what I want... Also, I can't fire the ship's guns. They're not going anywhere. But I want to basically... You know when you skip rocks?
Yeah, you want to skip across the atmosphere?
I want to skip across so that I can basically slow us down without doing damage to ourselves.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to.
Ooh, now that's a very, very tricky.
I'm tricky, and I'm an ace
all right,
pilot.
Dev, you've only read about this in books. It's very difficult to skip a ship across the upper atmosphere. It's theorized that it can be means for very quick travel, that you can circumvent an entire planet and get from one place to another in lickety-split time. I'm going to need the roll. This is a desperate roll, because every time it has been attempted, there's at least been electricity on the ship. So this is desperate. The outcome is going to be pretty... I would say it's going to be pretty great.
And I've got Ace Pilot, which will increase my potency for this.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you do have Ace Pilot.
Or are you going to push yourself, or what?
Okay, out of 4. Everybody else in the ship. The ship hits basically enters the major piece of the atmosphere.
Do I get that bonus die from my sister helping out? Is that an assist there from her?
She busy making a parachute.
I know, is that an assist?
No, because the parachute hasn't released yet.
Devil's bargain.
Oh God, not my brother.
Her slip to get a bonus die.
You could. You could devil's bargain your way out.
Oh, and the 4 that you said was that's still my roll. He hasn't rolled yet, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
No,
oh, you're right. That does say slip. Okay.
I have not rolled yet. I'm getting ready to do it. I'm just waiting if I can get a thing in there.
We've never done a devil's bargain.
We don't have any more gambits, do we? I don't think so.
Not yet. You guys started real low on everything.
Okay. This is 2 dice.
I believe in you. Make it work.
So Janus smashes the bottle down on the floor. Bloody hell! And stumbles up towards the cockpit. Puts a bloodied hand onto Dev's shoulder. Mate, you got this. It's not like our lives depend on it or anything. I believe in you. Look at what you did with that fucking missile. I'm giving him emotional support.
Okay.
Oh my.
He is behind the your seat as you're as you're trying to glide this thing in. Janice is giving you emotional support.
And I'm pushing myself to do it.
That is a bonus die.
That is a bonus die.
And Dev was looking at everything. You could tell he was stressed out, and he was trying to sort of look at all of the details, and trying to figure out how to do this. And then you put your hand on his shoulder and say this to him. And he just exhales. Okay. And I roll a 6.
Everybody in the yeah, go ahead.
Effect. A bonus to my effect because I'm an ace pilot.
Oh, that's right. Okay. You guys feel the ship as it feels like it's hit the upper atmosphere, as if the nose has already dived into water. You feel it as flames are pouring past the sides of the ship. Dev, you've got your hands on it. It takes quite a lot of strength to guide a ship of this size with no real additional help. You use the momentum of the ship falling and the single engine that you have to kind of almost tailspin yourself around, and in doing so, you level the back end out. So instead of nose diving, you kind of come flat, and you guys feel the ship poof, as if it bounces off concrete. I need everybody that's not hanging onto something. You're going to need to make a roll because the ship basically bounces. And all of you are going to go flying. So tell me how you would like to mitigate this bump in the atmosphere.
I'm in my crew. I'm in the cockpit.
You're in the cockpit. You're probably actually buckled in. We'll say Teddy's buckled in. But Midge, Hanovi, and Janice, you guys are up and on your feet. How would you like to mitigate it?
Slip is going to kind of squeeze herself into some kind of nook and cranny in between some machinery.
Okay.
Along the wall.
To hang on. So I'm going to say, what is the roll you'd like to make?
Scramble, I guess?
Yeah, you can make a scramble. I love it. So this will be this is a desperate attempt because it's happening very quickly. The outcome is standard. Nice! Yeah, you're like, it's almost like you know that feeling, as if you could read your brother's mind, and you dive for a nook and cranny as you hang on to basically dead pieces of machinery that stand out of the wall, as the entire ship, like, just starts to bounce across the atmosphere. Hanovi and Janice, what are you rolling to mitigate the damage you could potentially take?
Right, so I'm in the cockpit with Dev, and I sort of reach my hands up and, hitting almost like I'm on a fucking roller coaster. I'm like, shit, yeah, front row seat! And I sort of grab onto the top of the cockpit just to see.
Yeah, like in that door frame or whatever, yeah. All right, cool. We'll say let's see, are you wanting to roll that as a scramble?
Sure, it'd be horrible. So why not?
If there's a better roll, and you think if you want to do it, I guess you're not technically fighting anything, but if you have a better roll, and
yeah, I mean, it's nothing that would apply to the situation. So,
great, then we'll roll it as a scramble.
Yeah, I'm not gonna push myself. What is it? I'm assuming desperate.
This is desperate, standard.
Okay.
Thank you for all these subscriptions today. Thank you guys so much. It is September here on Twitch. And I have a very exciting, for all of you subscribing today, or anybody that may want to subscribe this month, I'm hoping to have all the new emotes for the dot lot done. They'll get access to those.
I'll push myself just for giggles.
Great! We love giggling as we're about to die.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You push yourself.
Nice.
You reach and you're like, hell yeah! This thing goes poof, and you smash your face into the back of the door frame. You feel as you take a bit of stress. That would be 2 stress as you smash your face.
Harm?
Yeah. Harm. I'm sorry. Yes. You take 2 harm. I'm not even staring at the character sheet. Let me pull that up so I know what the hell I'm talking about here. Yes. So you're gonna take your first harm. This will be, you know what? Actually, this is gonna be considered a lesser effect. But we'll say you've cracked your nose. It's now bleeding. You basically broken the nose. So the effect, as in most Fate games, is usually a small sentence. So we'll say, it needs to be something clever. Bloody knuckles and bloody nose. And so you kind of cracked the nose. It may be broken, you're not sure, but it definitely hurts. It's like blood now streams down your nose. You can taste the iron in your mouth. Hanovi, how are you going to mitigate this bump in the atmosphere?
So, we have a chat.
Okay.
I suffered trauma.
Okay, yes.
When you suffer trauma, you're taken out of the action, you're left for
That's right.
dead, or otherwise dropped out of the current conflict, only to come back later shaken and drained. So I'm imagining I don't.
Great!
Wait, trauma. You have to take 4 trauma.
No, that's to retire. When you take
When you take any trauma, if I believe that's actually right, yeah. Yeah, once you hit the trauma point, it's kind of like knocking you out. Yeah. I was gonna look at, yes, 1213, page 1213. Yeah, let's actually read it for all of you at home. I finally got myself a snazzy, beautiful book. I'm at Gen Con this year. I was very excited. I'm very excited. So when a PC marks...
Just for the people at home, I took the trauma condition vicious.
Ooh.
Meaning that I seek out opportunities to hurt people, even for no good reason.
This is going to be so fun. So, anytime you mark your last strikes box, which Hanabi has done, they suffer a level of trauma. When you take trauma, you circle one of the trauma conditions, like cold, reckless, unstable. In this case, he took vicious. Yeah. This ought to be fun. This entire experience, Hanover, you're not sure if it's the lack of atmosphere, if it's the actual physical trauma that you've taken, the emotional trauma that you've taken, but it has definite, or maybe, I don't know, the drugs you injected into your eye socket. No big deal, but something has tipped you, and there is this just blood bubbles and it boils under your skin. You feel like you could kill anything that stands in your way. So we don't know what happens to Hanovi as the ship.
Want me to fight the ship?
Yeah. No fighting. Well, I mean, you're welcome to. That'll be a fun.
It's only fair that I take the harm because I'm imagining that I can't aim.
Yeah. No, you can't do anything. So the ship kind of bounces. It like slams you against the wall. You take one harm. As it bashes you against the wall, and we'll say maybe you knock your head as well, leaving you with a bloody noggin and a bump of some kind. As Dev, you feel the ship make its first bounce, and there's that moment as it goes to bounce again. Are you going to dive through the atmosphere, or is it going to work? Are you going to be able to? And it begins the bouncing process as it skids. You have that moment in air where everything pauses and it skids again. And it skids again. And it begins to skid at a slower and slower pace over the series of 60 seconds. The ship finally finds a controlling fall as it breaks through the atmosphere. You have gone off your original trajectory because you've like literally hopped around the surface of this planet. And as you break through into the lower atmosphere, you see through a series of clouds that you are headed for a very, very lush and green piece of land here on the planet of Petrana. The water is crisp blue. You've probably never seen real plants this green before in your life. I don't know if any of you have ever visited Petrana before.
We're from Crap Planet.
Yeah. So it is so green. Like, literally, you don't think you've ever seen anything so damn green before in your life. Midge, you feel you break through the upper atmosphere. This is your moment. If you're going to drop... if you're going to prep and drop the parachute, now is your chance.
Yeah, I slam the button, whatever would...
Yeah, you toss it out there. It... and pops open. Deb, you can have a +1 to land to the ship.
And I say, I think we're controlled. I think we can do this. That parachute goes, we slow down a little bit more, and that just helps stabilize a little bit.
I'm going to need one more roll from you to land to the ship as you break through a very thick line of trees.
Is this risky?
Hang on to your butt.
This is risky, but, yeah, this is risky.
Okay.
Thanks, Will.
Okay, and I get a little bonus die.
You get an extra bonus die, thanks
Because
to your
the
you guys feel the actual parachute as it like jerks the ship a little bit. It is technically expanding fabric, so the parachute gets huge. Like it was maybe an 8x8 piece of fabric, but once the atmosphere hits it and stretches it to its capacity, it's now like a 20x20 foot piece of fabric that trails behind the ship, slowing you down. It's not really meant for this, but it will serve that purpose.
Go, dice, do it.
Did it do it?
It did do it.
Risky,
yes.
Risky standard. 5. The ship, hot and burning as it has broken through the atmosphere, even with its controlled fall, you guys crash into this tree line. It is extreme. You
And
bang
I get my
around.
bonus for being ice pilot. For ace
Oh,
pilot.
that's right. You managed to dodge a very large tree that would have come straight through the window and possibly killed you. Be a leaf on the wind, Dev. And the ship, it hits a few trees. It breaks through vines that slow it ever faster. And the ship, as very quickly, actually comes to a resounding, like, halt. It's all green in front of you. You see plants and vines. You can't even, like, you can't even turn the windshield wipers on to pull it back, Dev.
Just one question: are we on the ground or are we suspended?
You don't know. You don't know.
Oh, thanks. I was just curious.
You don't know yet.
Like just everyone sound off. How's everyone doing?
Dev,
Midge, are you okay?
I'm all right.
Okay.
The engine is still like, because it's literally on a closed circuit loop with the battery,
And I can't turn it off.
and you can't turn it off from where you're at. Midge, you're welcome to run over and try to unplug it.
Yeah, I'll unhook the wires just so we don't waste time.
The engine lets go. When this happens, Deb, that single engine turns off. You feel the ship like release and swing.
Oh. Mr. Deadeye? How are you?
Roll call.
There's light coming through the windows, natural light from the star. But I'm guessing Hanovi is not responding.
Roll call?
Janice, you guys have landed. You were directly behind Dev. Your nose is probably still bleeding. You may even be on the floor based upon like the destruction of the landing itself. But you guys have landed.
So a bit blurry-eyed, sort of blood streaming down his face. Right, I knew you could do it, mate. Good job.
Mr. Hyde? Mr. Hyde?
Once I unplug the battery, I'm gonna be running through the ship to look for Hyde.
Ms. Aurora? We've got 2 unaccounted for.
Hanovi, how do they find you? Or how do they find Hanovi, JB?
I think that in the moments before the bump and everything happened, like there would be this scene if it were a film where everything's kind of starting to spin and everything sounds distorted and loud, and he's looking around and there's blood dripping from his eye and he wipes it but it smears it into his eye and he's confused a little and he screams and he doesn't really know what's going on, some of the effects of Hardmark. And then when he hits his head, I'm just imagining it probably knocks him out, or at least knocks him down and then he
Yeah.
just comes out.
Yeah. Midge, you probably find Hanovi head bleeding from looks to be a concussive type wound on the ground. Next to a bloodied pulped body that might be on the ceiling from like the accident. Like there's pieces of it on the ceiling. It's like everywhere. There's glass broken all over the place from Janice's drinking endeavor at the start, and
There's
yeah.
a piece of glass in Hanovi's cheek.
Yeah, like a small, like definitely an accident. Like you guys have been in the worst kind of car accident. Midge, you know that you saw Aura
Get the whole
sucked out of the ship.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
okay, good. I wanted to make sure. I think Dev's the only one. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, because he was up front.
That's right. So yeah, you're good to go. Hanovi is there on the ground, passed out.
Stay up there. Just everything's fine. We're all fine here. I'm gonna be running around the room frantically looking for some kind of like fabric that I can press against Hanovi's head because he's breathing, correct?
Oh yeah, he's alive.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna see if I can bandage up his head. If the glass doesn't look too deep, she's gonna rip it out of his face.
Great. Okay, here's what
It's
happens.
in his mouth, so I mean, you
Yeah,
know, it's,
you find the basic first aid kit. You know that there's like, it's basically a space ice pack. You crack it, and immediately like, chills, kind of like the way dry ice would. You wrap it, bind it, and you press it to the bump on Hanovi's head. In addition, there are a few other things in this kit, including like an adrenaline shot, basic ace bandages, antibiotic type stuff that would need to like disinfect wounds. Are you looking for anything in particular?
If I've got something that'll seal up a big cut. I mean, I got super glue.
Okay.
It'll work.
I actually think, sure, we could say that there's some, we'll call it super skin. There's some super skin in there that like binds, it's like a quickie bind. Hey, Lysander, I see you out there. Let's see, there is, I know there's a thing for this on the sheet. You are going to have to doctor him if you want to pull the glass out without doing more harm.
I can try.
All right, you give it a good doctor. You find a pair of tweezers in the base first aid kit. Your hand's probably shaking just a little bit, but that's from the, accident.
Foot against the wall for some leverage.
Yeah.
Risky control, desperate.
I would say this is, it's risky because you could cut his face open more, but it is definitely not desperate, but the outcome would be pretty standard. I mean, if it's like a piece of glass, it could be really bad if things go bad. Okay. Okay, great.
Hey, well, not bad.
Okay. A 4. A 4. A 3. Right, we gotta take your lower. So that's right. So you reach out and the tweezers tink the glass. You pull and it doesn't come out immediately. It might have been in there for a while. It takes you a second. You have to twist it just a little. Blood pours down his face, and you pluck it free. And when you do, it definitely tears the skin a little bit more, leaving it wide open. It begins to gush. You are able to cover it with something like an ace bandage or something, and you try really hard. You trickle the super skin and try to pinch it back. You get yourself caught a little bit on Hanovi's face. With a 3, you definitely do. You're now sticking to yourself, but you think that you've sealed his face well enough. At least it's not bleeding anymore.
He's not the most best looking of us anyway. I'm gonna, after everything is kind of sealed off a little bit, I'm just gonna lightly tap his cheek. A little harder.
Which cheek? The ruined one or the other one?
Not the cut one.
Just asking.
The opposite cheek.
Hanovi. Man,
I don't know if you want me to wake up. I know when I had a concussion, I didn't wake up for 6 hours.
Yeah, he's out. He's been knocked out cold. You're welcome to prop his body, but I would say at this point, Hanovi's probably he's breathing, so you don't have to worry about that. And you check his eyes, his pupils dilate and everything. So he's
no brain damage.
Responsive. There's no direct brain damage, but it does look like he's had a massive concussion.
That is perfectly fine. Yeah, I'll get him, make him comfortable, take my jacket off, make it a little pillow.
Oh, cute.
How's Mr. Hyde and Ms. Aura? How are they?
Hyde is fine. He's doing good. He's resting.
He's not talking.
Well, he's asleep right now. So he's gonna take a little bit of a nap. Don't worry.
He sounds injured. How's Ms. Aura? Is she injured too?
Janice, you hear Deb say that right next to you.
So,
Innocence.
with that, Janice just goes back and tries to find the bottle that he keeps hidden in his room, that he keeps sort of tucked away of very, very pricey illegal alcohol.
It's there. Surprisingly enough, not broken. Everything else in your room is all over the place, but the bottle...
He just sort of sits down on his bed and starts burying himself in the bottle again. Now I'll say this, just so you know, that last stress also gave me trauma.
Great! Perfect! Everybody's in super trauma mode. Why do we even need me here? Okay.
So I went with obsessed.
Oh.
And it is vengeance.
Great.
And
Just us, babe.
So just so everybody at home knows, trauma conditions are considered permanent.
You do not heal from them.
You don't heal from trauma. Trauma is something that sticks with you.
When we get that trauma tick, does it drop the stress off?
Yes.
Yeah, it resets
It resets your all of it. So you're free of stress now because your trauma has taken over. So there are a few things over time, like when you receive a certain number of traumas, you basically just retire. That's what retirement is for. Dealing with your traumas, I guess, in Scum and Villainy. But for now, we have all of the trauma. So Janice, you said you took obsessed. So you're enthralled by one thing, an activity, a person, a goal, an ideology. Okay. Dev, you turn around thinking you're going to see Janice, and he's long gone. You catch his jacket, like his coat, just as it turns the corner into his bunk. And Midge is kind of running up, filling you in on this situation.
Midge, what's going on?
So the lady, kind of close to Janice.
Is she okay?
Kind of dead.
What do you mean?
Well, you know, there was an explosion. It was a bomb, correct?
It was an explosion, a bomb
Yeah.
of some kind.
Was it a bomb?
Yeah, and she took it for Janice and saved all of our butts, and
I should go talk to him.
I would say that's a no.
But he lost someone important to him. I can maybe he probably needs someone right now. Look, also, I don't think we're on the ground. I think we're caught up in vines.
I feel like we're in a giant hammock as well. Are we able to see anything out the front?
Just lots of
Out the
vines.
portal?
It's like greenery and vines just covering you. I need somebody to make a luck roll
Well,
Wow.
we've got the back
or a
end.
fortune roll.
We've got the
think that's
back end open. I'll head to the back of the ship where the parachute was.
Okay.
You're down over the edge.
Yeah, you peer down over the edge. You are in the air.
Just so
How
for the
high?
record.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, just real quick, just for the record, we do have a gambit at our disposal because I made a desperate.
Oh, that's right. Don't forget. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good call. There is a gambit now for the group.
We
Okay.
have one.
Okay. I'm going to we have one. I'm going to. This is where I love fortune rolls. It's one of my favorite things about Scum and Villainy.
Where is it? Where's that fortune?
I always miss. I don't know where it is every time.
It's just above your clocks in the bottom
Mm-hmm.
right-hand corner of your character sheet.
Just
Oh, I see it.
Clocks.
Underneath
Oh,
your
yeah.
deadly
Okay.
Okay.
You roll for it. You're the lucky one.
Me?
Yeah, Speed Racer.
Come on, Dev.
Gee whiz. Go, Speed Racer. I'm not going to sing out loud because of copyright, but you know.
30 seconds.
How many dice do I roll? Just one?
There's actually just one. It's just a
Oh, we
flat
have a
like.
gambit.
I was about to say you do have the gambit. I feel like there is
No, we're gonna
actually a fortune. Is that on the ship?
I see it. I'm going to roll fortune, but it asks me how many dice.
Uh,
Anything for our ship? For our crew or whatnot?
So usually it's rolled by. Let me see what this says. I think it's usually rolled by the GM, but I like for you guys to do it. The fortune roll is a tool. Blah 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 blah. When you make a fortune roll, you may assess any trait rating to determine the dice pool of the roll. Okay. If no trait applies, roll 1d for sheer luck or create a dice pool from 1 to 4. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to let you roll 2 die. This is a 50-50 chance.
And does
kinda
my
on
key
trade.
die help?
Sure.
Do I get 3 die?
Sure.
Is that bad? No, it's good. All right. I look with my keen eyes out the back.
Okay. Keen eyes, go.
Hey.
Wow. Okay.
Huh?
See?
Well, the good news is
Lucky one.
the vines don't crack underneath you.
That's good.
I was going to let the vines break.
No.
You peer out the back. You are somewhere between about 50 to 75 feet in the air. You are hanging from a series of vines that are kind of swung between the trees and such, kind of creating this natural hammock. They seem stable, but the vines are like
big.
freaking huge. They're nice and thick, and you hear the sound of the wilderness, but not that of animals. There are no birds, there are no bugs, you only see the, like, very thick green. Who has a lot of knowledge of this solar system and of the planets?
Probably Dev.
Okay.
Kind of studious.
I was about to say, this is usually what Sis is used for, but guess what?
Out of the two of us, anyway, definitely you.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to study and think about things. I was a book.
You might have studied. I would say then, like, we all learn about the planets in our solar system. That's like a basic, like, thing that happens when we all go to school.
And I was in the military for piloting, so I had to learn about the different places.
It's true. Okay, Dev. I'm just gonna give you part of this.
Controlled?
Yeah, we could say that. Oh, this is just a knowledge type thing based on what your character might or might not know.
Because I've got to study too.
Oh, do you? Okay, go ahead. You can roll it if you'd like. This is definitely a controlled situation, and the outcome is pretty standard. It's just like an information roll. Okay.
5.
Okay, 5. Petrana, as you're, like, standing there and you're staring at this giant, just all this greenery, Petrana is known for the fact it's full of water. It is filled with life. Most of the produce for the galaxy is grown on this planet by the humans, the human lineage that has kept to this place. On one of the main, they call them islands, but they're really they're not even a continent. I would say that they're both might be the size of Australia, is probably a decent size for a piece of land. There's one that is inhabited. The other one is said to be inhabited by the plants themselves. It is uninhabitable because the plants consume everything biological, or that has any kind of like carbon base that lives on its surface. There are no animals, there are no bugs.
Oh, hey, everyone. I think we might have landed on the wrong island. I think we're on the island with the carnivorous plants. But I'm not hearing any bugs. None. No bugs.
I'm gonna go back to rig up the batteries to get a small signal out.
Okay, you'll have to move it. So you would move it like up front to the radio. Roll another rig for me.
Sure.
That'll definitely be a rig.
And while that is happening, I just am like walking back, and I see this bloody carnage everywhere.
Everywhere.
Don't look.
The mess hall and kind of the main sitting area, I guess you could say, the like living room of the ship, as well as part of the cargo hold, is destroyed. Partially from Hanover, partially from Janice, partially from the crash. As well as the combat. You see where the main exit door has been welded shut via midge to seal that hole, and you can see around the edges of it where it's like where the explosion happened, there's like charring, black charring and those kind of things. You can see that there definitely was some kind of explosion that happened. Aura's nowhere to be found.
Well, some of Aura.
Well,
because she leaped out.
she
was out. Okay.
maybe on the outside of the ship.
Oh, the beat up buddy was the other guy. Okay.
Yeah, the beat up body was the agent, the that Janice managed to get his hands on, which was his.
Yeah, because she took that bomb and leapt out of the hole in the ship so that
That's right.
he would not explode and die.
Mm-hmm.
Because she cared. And he kind of just stands there looking at all this carnage. He goes, Midge, what happened here?
Fucked up shit. Can you check on Hanovi again for me? He's in the mess hall.
And she says that right as you can tell that Deb was heading towards Janice's room, and then he stops and he turns.
Sixth sense.
just about to go to Janice's, and he goes to look try to find Hanovi, and he sees him there, sort of out underneath Midge's jacket.
Yep.
And just like he squats down, he puts his hand on Hanovi's forehead, and just like it's very gentle. It's a very gentle sort of hand on his forehead, just to sort of feel for a pulse, see how he's doing, and it's just sort of like a slightly comforting gesture, even though Hanovi's not awake. And then after that, like little pause, he's gonna get down to do his cycle of first aid, and he's gonna do some doctoring, because he actually does have some doctoring, because he learned his military first aid.
Yeah, your sister clearly tried.
I did my best, okay? It was a valiant attempt. Looks good. Looks great.
I assume this is
I
a
want to know
control.
how I got these scars.
This is controlled. This is a standard roll, or a standard outcome, and yeah, your doctoring roll.
5.
A 5.
I'm gonna first make sure loosen up his boots, make sure his cuffs are all sort of loose so that he doesn't have anything constricting him.
Okay.
Check for breathing and bleeding, head injuries, the whole thing. Try to make sure compression bandages, the whole
9 yards. Okay.
By the numbers.
You look Hanovi up and down. Pulse, fine. Pupils dilate, fine. There is definitely possibly a need for stitches in his head where he took that. But as you check his eyes, you notice that there is a single spot, fresh, where the needle went in. You question why there's a needle insertion point in the white area of his eye. It was not done clean, and there's a little bit of like there's bloodshot around it because of course he was like shaking as he put it in, so it wasn't a very clean entry point. You take that in and you don't know that you understand. Hanovi, what you took, does it increase your heart rate? I'm guessing it does since you hulked out.
Yeah. I'm imagining it just to be like a hypotonic steroid.
That's what I thought. You can see, you could increased heart rate. The blood is like pumping through his veins. His body is warm. Not to the point of overheating, but it's definitely like warm as if it has been in physical activity in some way. He sweats from his temples even though he is passed out and not doing any activity. You bind the places, you stitch his head, you check the piece of glass you see laying on the floor that came out of Hanovi's face your sister left lying there. She sealed it to the best of her abilities. There's no going back from that.
It's gonna leave a scar.
Yeah, it's gonna leave a little bit of a scar. You put some cocoa butter on it to be a good friend. And Hanovi seems stable. If it is a concussion, you don't know when he'll wake up.
Well, I just put I know I've got a little we were in space. It's cold everywhere, I'm sure, and I just make sure that he's cool. I try to sort of cool him down as best as I can, so that he.
Okay. Yeah, you continue. You take the ice pack that was like on the bump on his head and around his neck and try to cool him off the little like med pack or whatever that came out.
And I just say to him, it's like really quiet, and I just say, Mr. Hyde, you're gonna be okay, but you've got to get up soon because we need you. And he stands up, figuring this sister's not gonna stop him, and then he's gonna go over to Janice's room.
Okay.
And he's gonna knock politely.
I would, but she's busy.
Nothing but silence at the moment.
Mr. Dead, I'm gonna open the door.
No response.
He opens the door, hoping that Janice is actually okay and not dead or anything like that. And he goes, Mr. Deadeye? It's me, Dev. Oh, that's dumb. You knew that. There are not that many people on the ship. And he comes in and shuts the door behind him, and he looks for him.
So yeah, you see him, he's sitting on the edge of his bed, and he sort of has his elbows placed down onto his knees. He's got a bottle in one hand, and the other hand's just kind of shaking, and it looks like it's holding something, but you can't really tell what it is. And he's just sort of sitting there silently.
Dev sits next to him. Just sits next to him. And sits close enough that his shoulder is touching Janice's shoulder. So they just have a little bit of physical contact. And he just sort of sits there for a bit.
After a few moments pass, Janice sort of acknowledges Dev's lack of leaving. And now that you're closer, you get a bit of a eye on what's in his hand, and it's a locket. And he's sort of opening and closing it, and opening and closing it. You know, Dev, you did really good, mate. The second time you saved our lives.
I couldn't have done it if you hadn't helped.
Well, you know what? To be honest, I didn't care if we lived or died at that moment. Part of me died with Aura.
I can't pretend to know what you're feeling right now. I know this must be really hard for you. But
You gotta promise me not to say anything, Dev, to anybody. Aura was my sister.
oh,
Imagine if you lost your sister. That, you know, she did something, I just can't fathom it. She's just so ridiculously foolish. She just jumped out the airlock with no... I'm not worth that.
Dev puts his arm around your shoulder. I'm so sorry. I won't say anything.
Oh.
But you know she did that because she loved you.
He sort of sits up a little bit, and you see him wipe blood and tear off of his face, and he takes a swig of his alcohol, and yeah, we always had this sort of estranged relationship. I was always the black sheep of the family, and she always did really well for herself, so I stayed away. But you know, when push came to shove, I think she kind of did something that I don't know I could have done, and that's what scares me most. I don't know if I could have made that sacrifice.
I bet you could have. I believe in you. I know we've not been a crew for longer than about a year or so. And you... I don't know. You can sometimes be a little scary. Not in the way that Mr. Hyde is scary. He's scary in the sense that I think he just might kill someone a lot. But you can be scary in that I don't always know what you're going to do, and I can be erratic, and I know that can frighten people. But there have been moments, all these little moments, like when you just put your hand on my shoulder and said that I could do it. Sometimes you're just really quiet, and you just say the right thing. And I know that we're a team. And I know that we couldn't do this without you. And I want you to know that I am here for you, no matter what.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dev. Don't do what I did. Be there for your sister. No matter what, always just be there for her. Because I don't know if Aura knew that or not. That I did love her, but I do tell you one thing. You don't have to worry about me being unpredictable anymore. Just come hell or high water, I'm gonna kill every fucking high mafia member I get my hands on. I'll scour this galaxy till there's nothing left.
Mr. Deadeye, you're gonna have to... You can't do that alone. You're gonna need people you can trust if you're gonna do something like that.
And at that moment, he kind of looks up towards Dev, and he's got his cybernetic eye off at this point because it's fried because of the EMP pulse anyway. And you see he's got a blaster scar right across his left eye, where I used to be. And he looks at you, he's like, just give me time, Dev. Last time I tried to trust somebody, this is how it all ended.
Mr. Deadeye, you don't have to trust me. I'm still gonna be here for you. It's okay. It's okay.
Why don't you go check on your sister, mate? Right now, I need this bottle to be here for me.
And you can tell that Dev has got like tears in the corner of his eyes. He's clearly sort of moved by this whole situation.
Yeah. Dev, it's not hard to tell with your medical background. Janice has a broken nose. It sits a little crooked.
Mr. Deadeye, your nose needs a bit of fixing. You don't want it to stay like that. Should we put back in place?
Alright, have at it. Do what you gotta do, mate.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd say painkillers, but... And then he just sort of points to the bottle. Okay, well... And sort of Dev reaches out and sort of places one of his hands in the back of Janice's head and the other on his nose. He's like, I'm gonna do this on 3, okay? 1, and then he does it on 2.
Great. Roll the doctor to crack his nose back into place.
Controlled?
This is very controlled, very standard effect. I'll give you that.
5.
Great! Yeah, 1, 2, before he gets to 3. Janice, it hurts like a motherfucker. Almost as bad as it hurt to watch your sister be pulled through the airlock. And it stops bleeding. And you finish the bottle, Janice. Dev, are you headed to see Midge, you said?
Yeah, but before he leaves, he just says, hey, Mr. Deadeye. Never mind. Don't worry about it. And then he just walks out. He heads over towards Midge. And then he stops and he goes, wait, we're suspended 50 or 70 feet above the ground, and we're probably in a planet that's, an island that's going to try to kill us. So don't get too drunk. We're going to be in trouble.
Don't worry, mate. And whatever you got to talk to me about, we'll take it up some other time, I promise.
And the camera pans down the narrow metal hallway of the Cerberus ship to Midge, who is in the cockpit attempting to power up a radio signal through like a CB type radio. So what I need from you is you rolled it earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, 2 3s.
2 3s. Okay. You really burned out a lot of this battery. Trying to get, I mean, it's a thruster, the ship's thruster here. You have no issue getting the battery connected, but it doesn't seem to be powerful enough to get the radio signal off planet. It seems to be a very localized signal.
Okay. Well, it can't go off the planet, but I know there's another continent, so to speak. I'm gonna blast it as far as I can.
Okay, just a distress signal, like
our loose coordinates. If it pings that, and say this is Midge Ryle of the Zero Gravitas. We've crash landed. And we need some fucking help.
You put it on a loop. This is Midge Ryle of the Zero Gravitas. We need fucking help. Boop. And it repeats and it repeats. And the signal seems to be broadcasting, at least locally within this, like, region, in this area. Yeah. Midge, you're met by your brother. Hanovi seems to be comfortable. The two of you stand there.
And Dev is like on the point of tears. He's got like, he's looking really sad.
Yeah, it's a shitty situation, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we're in trouble.
Well,
We probably need blasters. How's the signal?
not good. Fingers crossed. I'm sure Hanovi's got some stowed away somewhere.
Yeah.
Gonna loot the body.
So we got to get him up, and we should probably seal up the ship so that whatever it is that eats people doesn't get in.
Looking at these at the vines, were they moving at all, or were they just kind of hanging there?
Nothing that you've seen looks out of the ordinary for plant life. At least, like, everything that you've seen seems relatively normal.
I don't know. I don't know how they work. I mean, it could be...
Neither does anybody else, because everybody that's come to report doesn't come back.
Oh, good. Great. Great.
When we studied this in the academy, they said that whatever this is, that everything is eaten or something here. Nothing is alive except for the plants.
Does that mean they can eat the ship, or it's just us?
I think maybe also the ship. I mean, nothing. Like, no little robot drones, nothing. I don't know how long we have.
I can burn them off.
Oh, that might get them mad. Hey, you know what I read? You know, I've never smelled it or anything, but there's this thing called grass, and it's like this green stuff that, like, rich people will have inside of their quarters and stuff. It's like plants, and I think it's supposed to feel good to step on or whatever. But it grows, right? And then people cut it so that it doesn't get so tall, and you can, like, apparently has a smell that's really beautiful sounding, right? This thing that's this cut grass thing, but apparently that is not just like a nice smell. It's like the grass screaming and sending out a message that it's being attacked.
What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that if you burned the things, it might send out a smell that alerts the whole planet that we did something negative, and then we all die.
Okay, I don't know what you've been reading, but I'll take it in mind. I sent the signal out. Midge is gonna... I'll go the length of the ship again.
Okay.
Kind of peer out. See... Kind of like stand on my tiptoes and kind of hover over the top edge of the ship and see if it's doing anything to the ship.
Okay, do you want to go, like, outside? It is definitely... There's oxygen in the air. Quite a lot, actually. It's the freshest air you've probably ever breathed in your life. It's clean and cool and crisp. It is like there is no filtered air in the galaxy that smells as clean as this does.
I'll take a rope and tie it onto me.
No, wait, don't go down there. What if it eats you?
I'm going up top. I'm not going down.
Okay.
I'm checking out the ship. Just hold on to this.
But I don't
Just
want
hold...
you...
She plops a thick rope in your hands. She's tied off, and you set out. The camera pans down to the body of Hanovi, lays there breathing. Kind of quicker pace than usual, thanks to the drugs flowing through your body. But we see Hanovi in his own mind, in a dream. You are at the masquerade, arm in arm with your girlfriend. You dance about. She laughs. You dip her. She laughs again. She doesn't laugh very often. But the people around you, you begin to notice, Hanovi, something odd. Every time the two of you spin on the dance floor and you get another make eye contact with another person, they are bleeding from their orifices. Nose, mouth, eyes, ears. Some of them bleed from their fingernails. And you begin to see it begins to pour more and more from them. As you spin faster and faster, the music picks up in your head. And at the last moment, you dip her. You see that Aya, she too bleeds from her eyes and her nose and her mouth. She coughs. She says, "Why did you do this?"
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to.
She says, "You did this. You did this." And she slowly passes out in your hands. As all around you, bodies begin to hit the floor. One at a time, over and over. And when all the bodies are finally down, the music comes to this kind of almost record scratching, like... Across the ballroom of one of the nicest space stations in the galaxy stands Commander Plume. Just as you remember him. Bold, broad-chested. He simply stares at you with acknowledgement and recognition.
I'm holding Aya close, like she's far larger than I am.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of holding her against me and walking towards Plume, stepping over corpses like a hand that's covered in rings and someone's foot with the shoe half off. Plume. What is this? What's happened? Plume.
He almost takes a step back from you to keep a bit of distance. He ignores you in your hands almost altogether. And he says, "Soldier, things have changed."
Hanovi straightens. Instinct, mostly.
Right, he straightens, you straighten. Things are not as they were. You are not as you were.
What's changed?
Everything is always changing. But this change, we could not have seen it coming. And he points, you've crossed the ballroom, he points again to the opposite side where you just came from. And at the far end, in the doorway, stands somebody that you recognize. The president. Well, at least the known physical form of the president. And he simply says, "That is not what it seems."
I turn and look at Plume again, like a little puzzled. Things don't seem to be clicking into place. All the thoughts are amorphous and kind of floating around me, but I remember little phrases and they play back things that my companions have said about the president and conspiracies and things that are so far beyond me. And what is, and I'll look at the president. What are they?
You simply hear Plume's from behind you, his voice in your ear simply say, "A decoy." And the word decoy rings in your ear. Aya coughs up, breaking you from this, a final breath.
I look down at her. I'm holding her head in one hand, and like her face is close to mine so that I can look at her. I'm looking at her and like tears and snot. Like,
right.
Full, don't know what to do, am helpless.
And she reaches up, blood pouring like from the underneath her fingernails, everything like bleeding out, and she gingerly touches your face a couple times with a single finger.
And it hurts.
And it hurts, yeah. It aches and pains. And she runs her finger down your lips for the last time, and as her body goes limp, you hear Plume say, "Time's up." And you sit forward, Hanovi, into actuality, out of your concussion.
I throw up.
Drugs, wreck, concussion. Yeah, you wake up in your...
Wake up from a concussion.
Yeah, you're like totally, you're safe. It seems that your face has been bandaged, but there's something sticky on the side of your face. Dev, you hear from behind you the breath of Hanovi as he sits up. Midge, now on the outside of the vessel.
And Dev is holding the rope, like, desperately, and then, like, turns to Hanovi. Mr. Hyde, are you... And, like, he kind of rushes towards you, but then he's, like, holding this rope, and it kind of, like, jerks him back a little bit. Midge, you probably feel a tug as Dev sort of, like, moves forward and, like, ends up tugging on the rope that you're at.
I'm not done yet.
You got more slack!
You're super busy. He holds up his hand and just kind of gets to where he's sitting with his back against one of the walls. Probably the wall with the big, like, welding mark on it.
Yeah. You put your back to it.
At this point, Janus comes out of his room, setting the bottle down on the table. He comes over to Hanovi and looks down to him. You see the scar on his eye from where his cybernetic implant used to be, and he looks down to Hanovi. Right, we've got a job to do, mate. And he just reaches out a hand to help him up.
I take it, and my hand is super warm, still coming down. It's not even been an hour. My hand is still super warm, coming down from the hard mark and trembling a little bit, and my grip is a little uncontrolled a bit. It doesn't hurt you or anything, but it's very, very tight, uncomfortably tight.
My hand is warm as well from the thinning of the alcohol in my blood.
So you're
Janus,
like a little woozy, and I'm a little woozy.
Yeah, you guys are a little, and you're trying to help each other up. Janus, you see something on Hanovi's face. It's, other than the scar that has been kind of poorly resealed, the opposite side, there's a very purposeful symbol drawn on his face in blood. You don't know if it's his blood, but it eats at you. Something about it. Is it the shape? Is it how purposeful it is on his face? And nobody doesn't seem to have noticed.
Right.
Somebody drew on him while I was sleeping at the sleepover.
Something on my face.
I think Dave got a bit creative when he was patching you up. I guess he wanted to decorate the other side of the face to match the scar on the other side of the face. I don't know, it's some sort of weird symbol type thing.
Dev's like, I didn't put a symbol on his face. What? And Dev's wanting to look, but he's still holding this rope.
Yeah, you're like trying to look over his shoulder. You managed to get it kind of out of the corner of your eye. If you wanted to roll a study, Dev, to see if you recognize the symbol, you're more than welcome to.
It wasn't one we saw recently, right?
No, this is not something you've seen recently.
Maybe I saw it in all that research I was doing. Maybe? Let's see if maybe I saw something. 2, 3, probably
it's
not.
Definitely some kind of... It's a very purposeful symbol. What you managed to get from it is some kind of like oval type shape. I'll get you guys a drawing. A single line comes down from it and then is dissected again by another line. We might note it as the female symbol of
Venus.
Venus symbol. But it is carved into Hanovi's, or I say carved, it is put in blood on Hanovi's face. The other side's carved out, but that's not as pretty. It is not a symbol you recognize. It's not used in this galaxy the way that humans would have used it thousands of years ago. But it is carved, or it is painted onto his face, and it embeds into your head, but you don't connect it to any specific thing.
But I commit it to memory.
You commit it to memory, without a shadow of a doubt. You're like, okay, that symbol.
But I was just treating him, and it was not there before. And I'll say, oh, well, don't touch it. Mr. Hyde, don't touch your face. There's something on your face that was not there just a few moments ago.
Janice leans into Dev. Right, mate, have you ever heard of any type of, like, sleep face painting or anything like that?
The mysterious sleep face paint.
No, and he was out. I mean, he wasn't... he was out.
Spooky.
And as you hit spooky, the camera follows the taunt line outside to Midge, who's still trying to get more damn slack. As you have successfully climbed the exterior, you stand on the top of your shuttle and you look out. You are caught pretty, I'd say, low in the canopy, so you can't see out over everything. But your senses tell you can kind of hear it, the sound of water lashing on a shoreline. As if you're actually pretty close to kind of the edge of a forest or whatever next kind of body of water that surrounds this place is. You're on some kind of coastal area. Yeah.
So she is wondering, I'm going to wander the top of the ship, kind of, if there's any vines that are touching it, kind of kick at them a little bit, see if there's any damage to the hull underneath.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of you kick a few around. They seem entirely inanimate. You're like, what the is everybody up in arms about? It's definitely dense greenery. We're talking rainforest level tropicalness, okay, here. But none of this seems to be alive.
Weird. I know we're hanging here. She's going to... I'll look over the little edge, check and see, the damage that might have been done to my ship on the way down.
Okay.
And once that's done, I'm going to take out my pocket knife and kind of chisel away at a chunk of plants.
Okay. Ship. You're able to very quickly make out that most of the exterior actually seems intact. There's possibly some damage that's been done to the front claw just because it's like a limb, right? It hangs out. It's going to take damage first. One of the rudders is definitely bent because it was literally taking the weight of Dev, pulling at it, so it may need some adjusting. Kind of the way, your car tire might be out of alignment. It just needs to be realigned. The outside is definitely scorched. This spaceship is technically not meant to enter an atmosphere and exit, so the paint job is ruined. The front windshield had scorch marks around it. The exterior has scorch marks. The opposite side of the ship, where Aura jumped, does not have any scorch marks from that explosion. She was either too far away at that point, or there was no explosion.
Weird. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, you're just kind of where's the... Okay. You probably expected there to be major damage over there because of that explosion. There's not, basically.
None.
There's not.
Huh.
There's also not, from what you can tell, any kind of blood, bones, guts, or body parts either stuck to the exterior of the ship. Now, those could have come off in atmosphere. They could have burned off when you guys entered trajectory. The makeshift parachute dangles, and you're very easily able to trim off a piece of... You want vine, you want leaf, you want bark. What are you looking for?
One of the thick vines. I just want to see if I can get it without touching it. I mean, she'll take off her shirt, I guess, and kind of
Okay. You're wearing...
hold it with one hand and carve out with the other kind of thing.
Okay. The first thing you note is when you cut the vine, it feels like flesh. It kind of goes through in this very soft way.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah, it makes a kind of gush noise, like a fruit gusher, as you cut into it. A very vibrant kind of green goo oozes out from around, and you've got a metal, yeah. You kind of cut away, you take a chunk. It's very, you kind of open it up, it's very liquidy inside, as if the vine itself maintains some kind of softer center to the plant itself. You've not ever seen really anything like it.
Like a nightmare aloe vera.
Yeah, like a nightmare aloe plant. Yeah. It continues to pour this kind of green goo out from the wound that you have put into it with the blade. Do you carry the chunk back in?
She's gonna let it drop onto the metal, and I'll lean back over the edge, like, "Hey, Dev, give me a cup."
Oh. Mr. Hanovi, hold this rope. Don't let her fall.
Yeah. Anchored, no problem.
And he goes
Poor
to-
man that just got out of a concussion.
So you get, one of those, like, we probably have these sort of little metal cups, And he gets one of these
Tumblers.
yeah, like these, gets a little metal cup, and he hands it up.
Okay. Plunk.
But
Drops it in. Are you wearing gloves, Midge?
she's got her. She's not touching with her bare hand.
Oh, that's right. You had a piece of, like, okay.
To kind of grab onto it.
Okay. It plops into the cup. Dev, it's kind of gooey. It looks like some kind of, it's like if you were to cut a piece of muscle away from underneath the skin. It's tendony and odd and kind of strange. But it doesn't seem to be alive. At least not the way that it was described.
Wait, what did you do?
I got a piece of the vine.
I told you about plants yelling to their friends, and we're probably gonna have plant monsters chasing us now.
Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Everybody call out a number 1 through 6.
I'm talking to the vine.
6.
5.
Right,
3.
Hanovi. You're standing there holding the cable with Midge attached to it. Oh, did you see it? Okay.
That's fine. I want to.
Great. You're holding this weighted thing, and you get this, like, tickle at your ankle. Just like, and you reach down.
No.
There's something there. It's crawling up your pants leg. You're holding Midge's line.
So I'll reach up while I'm holding it with one hand,
Yeah.
unless she's like dangling.
No, I'm not dang. I'm up on top
I'll
of the
grab
ship.
my pant leg,
Uh-huh.
tighten it above where this thing is crawling.
Yeah.
And then twist my pant leg and say,
Down.
"Have something."
When you look down, it's the oddest thing you've ever seen. It moves like nothing you've ever seen before. It's not a vine. It's not a leaf. It seems to be some kind of maybe a mold or a fungus. And you see that it's starting to come through, it's actually come through a crevice in the, like, wall of the ship, and it's crawled out of a crevice, and it's actively growing and has moved its way up your leg, and has reached out and latched itself, this, like, moldiness around your wrist. That is where we're gonna have to end today's episode.
Oh my god.
That's where we'll have to stop. Because it's time.
Is that a friendly mold? Like,
Yeah,
hey.
it's our new pet. It's the party pet.
Yeah, just gonna say hi.
Doesn't matter. Gonna fight it.
Oh, mold! Once you have mold, it's hard to get rid of it.
Oh, don't we just need like some kind of like a cleaning solution, a little bleach,
Yeah.
something?
Dawn.
Dawn.
Yeah, we'll just put some solid soap on it. It'll be fine.
It's fine.
Gosh. Okay, let's go around. You guys did it. You survived this
did.
this one.
This
2
one.
traumas and 7 stress. But
2
we did it.
trauma, 7 stress, lots of dead people, a broken ship, and
Everything's fine.
Emotional damage.
so much emotional damage.
I think there's a Band-Aid for that. No?
Is
No?
there emotional? Oh, I need a box of emotional Band-Aid Band-Aids.
Yeah. That's all I need.
Yeah, I need a hardcore big. Can I get those in like a big size?
Adhesive medical strips. We are not sponsored by Band-Aids.
Oh, yes, sorry.
That's true. Yes, you're right. I need emotional adhesive strips, please. All right, let's go around. We're gonna go backwards this time, and tell us who you guys are and where we can find you online. I'll drop some stuff below, and don't forget, if you scroll to the bottom here, if you guys are on a desktop, there is a plugin that I use that gives information on everybody's characters and links to everybody's Twitch pages as well. So definitely check that out. And so we're going backwards, which means we start with Trooper.
Hey everyone, I'm Trooper SJP, and I'm in no way traumatized or nervous or worried about what is going to happen next week. I'm sure it will be fine because, you know, the fun guy. Fun guy.
One cred.
I will make you pay for that pun.
Loaded off the island.
You will pay for that pun. No. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna have to, the puns are starting to get out of control in my life and on my channel. I feel like I'm gonna have, it's like the curse jar. You guys are gonna have to start putting quarters or something forward every time you make a damn pun.
So are you saying we're going to be punished?
Double.
I hate you all so much. Trooper, tell us who you are and where we can find you online.
You can find me on my channel, Trooper SJP on Twitch, where I am streaming story-heavy video games, and once every month or two I'm doing some one-shots on my channel. Been doing some Cthulhu Confidential, and you can find me at Academic Foxhole on Twitter. And that's me. And I've got to try to figure out how to do a diary entry for Dev when we have no electricity. I'll work it out, because...
Does he even remember how to write?
I mean, Dot has a Discord. If you're not a member, you should join it, because it's awesome. And I like to post little diary entries for Dev.
Here, let me help you out with that. Yeah, if you're not part of the Discord, come jump in. Oh, punishment. I can't even. Okay. Come jump in the Discord. I guess, I feel like I should just have a channel for puns now. We'll call it the Pun-ish channel on the Discord, and you just come punish yourself. The Pungent channel. Oh, I can't with all of you.
Kill me.
Jason, please. Take it away.
So, Jason TD, D&D DM on Twitter. Let's see what I got going on right now. Obviously this, I have another sci-fi thing that I'm in on Erasmus Expeditions that is Star Wars related. Hopefully another thing coming up soon. And then in January I have a tabletop gaming cruise that I'm organizing all of the E4, which is going to be awesome times. So if you can't afford to go to a castle, maybe you can afford to go to a cruise. Just saying. But yeah, it's been lots and lots of fun tonight. Well, emotional, disturbing fun. But
The best kind of fun.
yeah, I definitely need like an emotional sling or something that's made by Ace or something. Just walk around limping. I don't know.
All you need. You just need a teddy.
Except Teddy's kind of half the Teddy he
Oh,
used to be.
Wow, even post-show, she's inflicting emotional damage. That's messed up.
He may never walk again. Like, what did you... Go ahead.
But yeah, no, lots and lots of fun tonight. Obviously, yes, check out the Discord. Dot's always running crazy one-shots and everything that you, the community, can be involved in. So that's how I got into it. So join up, have fun.
Yeah.
Play with us.
Come play with us. Yeah, and I'll definitely chat about Sunday Funday here in just a second and tell you guys how you can do that. Adelaide.
Yeah, Adelaide on Twitter. Got lots of shows, fun stuff throughout the week. I forgot what we were doing. Just introducing ourselves. That's fine. I'm sorry.
I'm going flip.
The wig is too tight. Okay.
Don't break immersion.
I'm so glad to be back with the gang. So I cannot wait until next week. Hopefully I don't get snatched by vines and the rope goes flying. Thanks, Anovi. Just nailed it.
Hang in there. And last but certainly not least, the man who has traumas ahoy. So much trauma. Hanovi. I mean, JB, tell us who you are and where we can find you online.
I am Drop the Die at Drop the Die on every platform that I have ever been on. I do tabletop RPG advice columns on my website, dropthedie.com. I do a lot of D&D 5e stuff on DM's Guild. You can check all of that out on dmsguild.com or come to my Twitter and check it out. It is currently 83.7 degrees in this room, and I am dying. But I'm super happy that we get to play these characters for a little bit longer, and that my lights don't make me look like a corpse anymore.
They don't. You're way more balanced.
You look good.
You look like you have like color, you know?
It's because the background's black and white.
Yeah. What a simple thing. Well,
Right?
you looked snazzy just in time for me to take everything away from all of you.
Everyone check out his taverns and tap rooms on DM's Guild. It's awesome.
Oh, it's so good.
We hit
so
platinum
good.
bestseller on that guy before the month ended, and I got knocked off of my #1 bestseller platter.
What?
Ah.
No, it's great. We
Oh,
have
it's
all
good.
kinds of cool stuff coming out.
Oh, great. Perfect.
Talented writers, and I managed to hit platinum before that happened, so I'm thrilled.
Awesome. That's great.
And Taverns, Inns, and Tap Rooms in Hell is coming out on the 17th, either the 14th or the 17th.
What?
Check that out. It's going to be a little bit cheaper, a little bit shorter, easier to digest. It's going to go into the descent into...
Okay. Oh, nice.
Wait, so
you should
a tavern in hell is a place where everybody's smoking, there's no filtering, so it's just like really bad smoke, and then no one will actually ever get your drink order?
So no one has heard anything about this PDF, but one of them is a literal walking monstrosity with a war engine strapped to its back. Another is a hideaway for dancing ghosts, and the other is run by a tiefling with white-tipped hair called Fry Giari. So come check out Taverns, Inns, and Tap Rooms in Hell.
That's amazing. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to have to go check that out myself. Oh, man. I am Dot. It has been a great first episode, I think. I had things planned, but I wasn't really sure how far we were going to get. I definitely didn't expect trauma or concussions. I'll be honest. But it added a nice little gem, so I was very excited about it. If you want to see more of what I do, you can find me on all of the social media. Here on Twitch as Little Red Dot. The rest of the week, I'll actually be on other channels outside of my own. You can catch me tomorrow over on Unmade Gaming's channel, as well as Margaret Crone as we close out the Witch game I've been playing on her channel, which is very exciting. In addition, I close out Game of Thrones Riverlands campaign on Roll For Its network this Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just in time for us to launch a new Vampire the Masquerade. I say new, the second season of Vampire the Masquerade over there. So if you've been missing Dakota,
I have
so many things.
But are you going to be sad not putting on that beard that you put on?
Actually, I'm so excited to not put on that damn beard because I'm pretty sure my face cannot handle spirit gum anymore. Like, it has been spirit gum to the max over the last, 10 or 8 weeks or how long I've been playing this damn maester. My pores need a break. So I'm very excited to be back to just teeth and dreads. Yes, but that being said, it's going to be an extremely, the next 2 weeks are just crazy between closing things and launching things. So keep up with me, actually, on my social media. More importantly, you should know that this channel is supported entirely by all of you in various ways, including my Ko-Fi, Patreon, where you can gain access to lots of different stuff. And we have actually just started something new. They don't know it yet because I haven't really told them, but they're about to learn. You can catch after shows over on the Patreon now, where we chat with the cast about theories and those kind of things. So we'll be seeing what the Purloin Code after show is going to manifest, how it's going to look. I'm letting the cast kind of choose how that ends up looking and how we record those. But the Witch Girl Adventure ones for the first 2 episodes will be released tomorrow. So if you're not already, join Patreon. $2, you gain access to all kinds of first access looks at character art, monthly chats with me, and first access to sign up for Sunday Fun Days. Sunday Fun Days. Did I do that right? No, I did it. I'm sorry. So I can spell Sunday Fun Day. Sunday Fun Day. Oh, I know why. Just kidding. I have this. I know my own commands. There you go. There's a sign up for that. Sunday Fundays are a community game where we play D&D and all kinds of playtesting of indie RPGs. There are still slots open for September, and September is also going to be our Sunday Funday Subathon, where I'm hoping to launch all the new emojis that you'll gain access to. So we're going to have special dot lot emojis. The same thing in the Discord. You're going to gain access to 15 new emojis if you join the Discord. So get on that. It's coming. It is coming. And then everybody that has subbed in the month of September will gain first access to the new ones coming up. Actually, the fierce one that Trooper just dropped, I'm having remade as like a actual like little emoji. So you're going to get like a dot emoji with the dice and everything. It's going to be great. I'm very excited. We're having a little actual red dot character made. I'm basing it off of the 7-Up dot. Which I'm really excited about. So things are coming. Things are happening. Stuff is moving. And I'll have some pretty big announcements about what you can expect in 2020 here on the Dot Lot. If you'd like to get a sneak preview of that, you can go to my YouTube and check out the Renegade Games review that I did, an unboxing of everything that I brought back from Gen Con, because you can expect to see every ounce of it on the channel here in 2020. Other than that, I want to, let's see, who are we going to raid tonight? There's got to be somebody out there to raid. Who's raidable?
Not a planet full of plants, though, or mold.
Or
Not
mold.
that.
No, none of that. Let's see. Who do we want to raid tonight? Pro is actually out there kicking, right? Let's go raid Pro. I think he raided us to begin with. We're going to do the same to them. Until next week, we will see you back here Wednesdays for the next, I think, 6 or 7 weeks at 8 p.m. for the Purloin Code, as we try to figure out what the hell is going on in this galaxy and why the president is maybe not who we think they are. So until then, you guys stay fly, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good one. Bye.